Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Michaela Peters. This is probably going to be the last video that I do for at least a week, potentially a week and a half to 2 weeks, because I'm going to start traveling. And the very ironic thing that starts to happen to me after I've been at home for a while is I actually get very sick of traveling and I don't really want to do it anymore. This is something that happened to me after COVID when I first went to Finland to start studying there, when I was there for the 2 years that I was there to get my master's degree. And right now I'm about to go on a few trips that I have coming up. And yeah, I'm going to be out of my home base for the next several months. And aside from the fact that I have an unhealthy level of separation anxiety that I start to get from my dogs, at least it goes both ways, and apparently that's pretty common with the Maltese breed, which my dogs are Maltese mixed with Bichon. I'm really gonna miss them. They're sitting here right with me right now, and they're so cute. Look. Although Harley's not really wiggling, so maybe it's kind of rude to interrupt his little nap, but oh, they're so cute. I just look at my dogs and think about how cute they are, like, literally 500 times a day. I don't even think that's an exaggeration. I think that's really how much I think it. Okay, anyway, so I have all these trips coming up. I talked about this actually in my Russian video, but I'm going to reiterate. I'm going to be going places like Vienna, Paris, somewhere near Frankfurt in Germany, because I'm going to visit a friend. And I'll also be going to Ireland, seeing the cliffs of Moher, and going around, obviously, my favorite place, Finland, Helsinki, and at some point to Lappeenranta. So there's a lot that's going to be going on, and the thing that I hate about this is because I never pay for luggage, as I talked about. I have to try and make all these things fit into a 10-kilogram carry-on, approximately 20-pound carry-on, and that part always really sucks, because one of the things that I love about being at home is that I have access to so many clothes and so many earrings and lots of choice and diversity, and then when I'm packing, I don't have that. And one of the other things, because I talked about having ADHD on this channel, is that I have a very hard time being physically organized. And what I find is the more I travel, the more disorganized I become, because I'll go on trips and then I get really lazy and I don't want to unpack from the trip. So that suitcase will be floating around in my room for a while. And aside from the home ownership goal, which has been dominating my mental space now for the last... a year is a bit generous of an estimate. Let's say like 9 months, maybe even 6 months, somewhere in there, less than a year. Prior to that, I was traveling around quite a bit, but now that I'm so focused on that, I'm not like very interested in traveling, because I want to take all the money that I'm getting and setting that away aside towards my down payment on my future house. So that's the thing. I just, I'm like, I must be getting old. Haha, I know, like, people older than me love to joke about that, but like, I just don't feel like it anymore. Like, you start to get tired and it's really weird. You're like, wow, there are only so many times that you can do a walking tour in a new random city. And I think I was saying also, it's not like I've been going anywhere very, very exotic. Like, I think if I was going to Southeast Asia, it could be a bit more interesting, but like, Europe is Europe is Europe. I would love to do a lot more Eastern Europe, because that does feel a little bit more post-Soviet, but again, very like same but different. Africa would be more interesting, South America would be more interesting, but now we're getting into places that I don't necessarily feel super comfortable traveling alone, unfortunately. Oh yeah, and this was something I wanted to do, but I probably will not do this because time. But I'm doing a presentation on traveling on the cheap for my job, and I know I talked about this already on the channel, but I did a little PowerPoint and it's so cute and I'd like to share it, and maybe I'll do that later. But I'm trying to get more Americans to travel abroad, especially to Europe, because I always used to think, oh, Europe is so expensive, and kind of, because it's also developed, right, like the way the US is, but traveling around the US is like the most expensive place that you can travel around. So if you as an American start traveling around Europe, you're going to save so much money, and I lay that all out for you and tell you how that works, and I give a very, rough financial estimate. But if you compare costs of a lot of things in like Paris versus New York, I mean, New York is significantly more expensive. So there is that. But yeah, so I don't know, maybe I'm just getting tired. I just kind of want to like settle down, because I've been doing this for a long time, and at some point it stops becoming special. I think that's the thing with, like, yes, there's a novel experience, but the thing that I've always tried to explain to people is that when you travel so much, like the reason why people like traveling is it feels like a break from reality, like a break from your problems. But when your lifestyle is traveling, all of your problems follow you no matter where you are, and it doesn't feel like a break anymore, like you're escaping anything because they just come with you. And instead, you have a lack of social support in some respects because you're not always in a place where you know people deeply and intimately. There could be time differences, so getting in touch with your loved ones overseas could be more difficult. I had that issue in Finland, I'm gonna be honest. Also in Kyrgyzstan, yeah, that was a thing. I actually kind of like the difference in Kyrgyzstan better because that was 10 hours, so it'd be like morning and then it'd be night for somebody else and vice versa. The 7 hour thing in Finland was a little bit trickier because I'd need to start making my phone calls at like 4 p.m., which a lot of times was when I was like done doing my work for the day and wanted to like go to the grocery store and all the other fun stuff. So, okay, anyway, I digress with that. But I'm just getting kind of tired, but my one BFF has wanted to start traveling, so we're going to travel together, and we have a couple trips coming up, all these random places I just listed. So, yeah, I'm definitely going to do that, and these are places I haven't been, somewhat. I haven't been to Ireland, I haven't been to Austria, but I have already been to Paris, and one time I went to Germany. I had a very bad experience in Germany. I actually think it'd be very funny to make a video on that, because it was so bad. I actually wrote about it, and I should just read it, because it's funny. Yeah, then the issue is people think I'm German, and then they're like, why can't you speak German? And I'm like, because I don't speak German, because I'm American. Anyway, yeah, I sometimes, though, if I'm in an extra wanting to mess around with people mood, I do pretend I'm German, but I, like, barely speak German, so that's not useful. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, like, tired and trying to get everything under control and feeling like I have way too many tasks that I'm starting to get behind on. One thing I'm really happy about, I'm gonna say I'm bittersweet, because honestly, like, I'm done working at the restaurant until like New Year's Eve. Yay, go me. I survived 4 months of crazy, like 60-hour a week work weeks, and that nicely went towards my down payment. Thank you, restaurant. However, I mean, I love having the extra money, and I actually like liked the social aspect of going to the restaurant and feeling like, oh, I'm being productive and social at the same time, and that's where I could practice Russian while I'm in the U.S. But yeah, I don't know. Like, it's weird that I'm not going to be working at the restaurant, but at the same time I'm so relieved because I can like go back to kind of having a life, which is like I start to miss that sometimes, like not getting to see my friends at all. So I don't know. But yeah, so the point is I'm getting kind of tired. Traveling takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of brain power. Maybe that part's not the hard part. But, well, apparently I have poor memory, so that could be a problem. Okay. But I think for me, it's like wanting to be settled, wanting to feel organized, and feeling like traveling at times can be an obstacle to that. However, there are a lot of really cool things about traveling, like the fact that I get to see people I haven't seen in a while, or I get to meet new people, have new experiences. All of these things are supposed to make you happier. I don't really think I'm somebody who should give advice on being happy, because I don't think I have very high baseline levels of being happy. Fake it till you make it. I know nobody will believe me saying that, but that's very true. I was learning something about this, how actually everybody has kind of like a baseline level of happiness to which they go back to after whatever kinds of events happen in their lives. And I don't know. I like sometimes I have to think about like, do I ever feel like there was a period of time in my life where I felt like truly happy? And nah, there have always been problems. Like, I'm just being honest. Like, in Finland, I liked that I had a lot more autonomy and control, but I still had other kinds of issues there, like feeling incredibly lonely, and which, you know, it can be good sometimes because it motivates you to go out and make friends, which I did try to do in a very non-creepy way, and I'm not going to say that it was always effective, but I tried. Maybe the creepiness started happening in reverse because people didn't understand I just wanted to be their friends. This happens to me a lot. It's fine. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with this at this point. But yeah, I'm also very tired because I got up this morning to take a class from Finland at 6 a.m. and I went to bed at 1. So that's like, I usually sleep 9 hours, and this is really just, this is why I seem kind of spacey. But anyway, that's kind of everything that I think I have for today. Just kind of explaining that I'm going to be out traveling. I'm going to try to do more GoPro footage, which I still need to work with. But because the restaurant's over, maybe I can use some of that restaurant time to get my YouTube channel in a better place, even though I also need to be doing the PhD stuff. It's really a lot going on. But yeah. So that's, yeah, I think that's kind of everything that I have for today. So I'm going to be traveling, and this is me all the time when I'm about to leave. I'm like, I don't want to go anymore. And then sometimes I had a nice time, sometimes I didn't, but because I'm going to be abroad, like, I do like being abroad. Traveling in the US is kind of mid, in my opinion, because I just feel like everywhere you go in the US feels the same. And maybe it looks a little bit different, like Colorado, Texas, yeah, they look different. I still think New Jersey is the best state, I'm not going to lie. People can get mad at me for that. Don't really care. I'm not even from New Jersey, and I still feel that way. I know people think people in New Jersey are rude. I just think they're direct, which I like. I mean, they can be rude, don't get me wrong, but maybe I'm just used to it. I don't know, but I think New Jersey's beautiful, and I love nature, so that's another thing is, like, I really do feel like New Jersey is home for me, I think. But I also feel like other places are home for me. Like, I actually also feel like Kyrgyzstan is home, and I also feel like Finland is home, and I at one point did feel like Texas is home. I just think Texas is a lot uglier than New Jersey. No offense to you people who live in Texas, but the houses, oh my gosh, if you just want to sit around in your house all day, you should live in Texas, which honestly, I like to do that. So maybe I should live there because those houses are so nice and so cheap. But then you have to run your air conditioning all the time, and I hate air conditioning because I've spent too many summers not in America. Yeah, okay. Anyway, this got kind of ranty as usual, and that's everything I have. So I'm going to travel. Right now I'm feeling kind of meh about it. We'll see how I'm feeling after it. I did have my fun weekend last weekend where I got to go see a bunch of my friends, but then after that I was like, oh, I'm really tired because I don't know, my social battery got drained, I guess. And then also I was like, wow, this was a lot of money, and this is exactly why I don't like doing anything, because down payment. Yeah, that's probably part of the like one track mind autism thing. Like, I'm just so hyper fixated on the housing thing. I don't know. It's probably why I've accomplished a lot of things, because it's kind of how I feel about everything I've ever achieved. I'm like, this one thing until I get it, and then I get it, then the next thing until I get it, and then I get it, and moving on. So I just realized I need a manifestation item for a house. Actually, I have a little house up here. I don't know what to do with it though. No, I need to buy a new one. I need a manifestation item for the house. I don't know what it's going to be. This is a good question. If you can think of something, leave a comment below. I talked about this in another video. When I went to NASA, it was like a little outer space lunchbox. It's over there. Okay, maybe I'll show that later. Outer space lunchbox. There was Doc Martens when I wanted to go to Finland. Don't know why. I associated that with Europe for some reason, even though I think they're German, but whatever. And what other big things? I don't know. I guess those were the biggest things. Maybe that's why I never got the critical language scholarship, because I never had manifestation item. I don't know, whatever. But okay, I'm gonna have to think of something. It's actually a good realization I just had just now. But yeah, so I'm gonna go on these trips. We'll see how I'm feeling after them. Maybe it'll be a mix. I'll be like, oh, I'm so happy I went on them, saw some new things, but now I'm tired. So yeah, I think sometimes life makes you tired when you're like, most people now. I'm an adult, right? And it's like, work, pay for things. The end. It's like what most people do. But life is still what you make it, and there's still plenty of opportunities out there. So I'm going to go utilize mine to travel, and hopefully I can provide some interesting content by which you can live vicariously through me, as a lot of people like to do. And I encourage you to go travel yourself, because it may not be as expensive as you think, which I will also talk about that later with that little PowerPoint. Alright, so that's everything for today, and I guess until a couple weeks from now. Sorry about that, but I hope you all enjoy this. Alright, until then, bye.